disturbing part of all of this is that these things are being done by us or those we know, those that live where we live, those that maybe work where we work. We're now adjourned for Port Harcourt. My name is Eno Ogbeviri, and we get into the conversation this morning on the Crossfire.
This is the Morning Crossfire on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
This is where we have the region's biggest conversation. And for those of you who monitored the news yesterday, PDP, the national chairman, Uchenna Secondus, held a world press conference. That's how it was tagged. And in that conference, he spoke about many things that have gone wrong with this country, from insecurity to the economy to management or mismanagement of what he called it, mismanagement of the nation's diversity, and the refusal to engage. You know, it was there he talked about how it is that the president barely speaks, but instead he leaves Ahmed, is it Ahmed? What was the guy's name? Garba Ahmed, right? Garba Shehu. And another person leaves them to, Garba Shehu, and there is another person, Lai Mohammed. Lai Mohammed is the Minister of Information, so I mean, he's placed to speak. Anyway, he says the president has, left that duty for, his aides to do. He also talked about Issa Patami and said it's time that he should be let go from office, should be relieved of his duty. And the way forward, one of the things he said that is going to be the foundation for our conversation on the state of the nation this morning is that someone mentioned Femi Adesina. Okay. The way forward is where he said we have not come to play politics but to work in concert with our compatriots to rescue our nation from these avoidable perilous circumstances. Bottom line, the PDP is saying that we're ready to work with the APC to rescue Nigeria. That's the foundation for the conversation this morning. I have public affairs analyst Achike Chude joining us all the way from Lagos this morning. But when I saw that conference yesterday, one question that came to mind was, if many Nigerians believe that what has become of the nation is as a result of the mismanagement and the failure of the PDP for 16 years, will Nigerians welcome this sudden U-turn made by the PDP? Will they welcome this advance? Or, like some other people have said, it's great if we've come to a place where political leaders are now seeing themselves as part of the solution and not you versus us, then perhaps this is the beginning of the long road to freedom. Achike today is back on the phone. Good morning, Achike. Achike, thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure, Anna. Good morning.
Yeah, so on one side, we have those who have said, this is brilliant. Finally, the PDP is now seeing itself as part of a whole and not the enemy, or just pointing out. I mean, Uchenna Secondus spent a long time yesterday pointing out all the ills, but eventually we got to the way forward. And on the other side, some people are saying, but you used 16 years to pillage our country. So what do you have? What are you bringing onto the table? So which side are you on this morning?
Well, let's start with the first one, and that is a demonstration of statesmanship, a demonstration of non-partisanship, because we are all facing an existential problem. Do not forget that last week it was Smart Ademi, Senator Smart Ademi, that kicked off this kind of thinking on the floor of the National Assembly. He talked about his loyalty to the APC, which he belongs to, and that he had to work with this government to bring about solution to the crisis bedeviling this country. Then I think it is a worthy thing. It is statesmanship, and that is what we need at this particular point in time. And you would also need the APC to respond in like manner so that they could also sit down together to see what they can do. But for those who say, of course, there is one might not disparage those who say, well, that they have spent 15 years pillaging Nigeria and the rest. But the reality, again, is this: that it's a possibility that you spend about 16 years, for instance, pillaging a country, and another political party comes in and spends 5 years or 6 years doing, and in 5-6 years has done much worse than the party that spent 16 years has done. So these are some of the realities confronting us. I'm not making a judgment now on the PDP or the APC, but I think this argument has been, a blackmail all this while, that they spent 16 years doing nothing. But you could spend 6 years and undermine everything that was even done in 16 years. For instance, you talk about, are we going to talk about the state of the economy today? It's far worse than we had. And do not also forget that these 16 years that they are talking about, Obasanjo spent part of these 16 years and they wrote off Nigeria's debt, $12 billion, which is unprecedented. So this is not an attempt to credit Obasanjo but these are realities, these are facts. You understand? And so, but beyond that, beyond the politics, is the fact that I would agree with Mark Adeyemi that we cannot be thinking of PDP or APC at this particular point in time, but we should think Nigeria. And if you think Nigeria, then I would say that what the PDP has tried to do, by extending an arm of, support and solidarity to the APC to try to resolve some of the contradictions of this country is a worthy thing. So we cannot discountenance that.
Okay, so he also talks about devolution of powers. I know that this has been, a sticky subject, over time. He says more powers to be given to the states and the local government.
No, it's not.
And hold on, not just that. He says the new responsibility should come with consequential increment in the resources available to the states.
Yes, to like I said, look, end of a very long time, we have been pretending that we are running a federal government, while what we have had on ground for a very long time is a unitary government. And so we have not actually, and the fact that people are talking about devolution of power, people are talking about fiscal, federalism, people are talking about respect for federal character, people are talking about state police and all that. These are, under normal circumstances, things that should form part of should form the running of a federal government. But that is not what has been going on. And so these are some of the political problems, crises problems that have led us to where we are today. And so the clamor for devolution of powers and so on is something that is fundamental to the running of a federation. And if we don't do that, all of the crises that we have will continue unabated. Of course, you know where we are. Like I said, we are now facing an existential problem in the country. It's important. The issue is that we need to discuss the basis of our existence, the basis of being citizens in this country. And it is not a discussion that would also involve the privileged members of the political class, but must cut across Nigerians, at all levels. It must cut across ethnic groups, geopolitical groups. It must cut across also professional bodies, organizations like the MBA, the Nigerian Medical Association, informal, sectors of our political economy, the Nigerian Labour Congress, and all that. The Nigerian Union of Journalists, and so it must cut across. That is the only way you can truly say at the end of the day that whatever resolution is gotten at the end of the day is something that emanates from Nigerians.
But then again, Achike, this matter of devolution of power, especially in regards to local government, the state governors have kicked against it. So why is that the president's problem?
Well, you see, obviously, the unfortunate thing really is because of the belief, and to a very large extent, that the economic well-being of the people is as a result of the direct and indirect intervention by the federal government. And so the tendency is always there to want to hold the federal government accountable for a lot of things. But the reality truly is that state governors also have duties and responsibilities to fulfill. They also are involved in ensuring that the people have, access to better living. And then what you just said about the disposition of the state governors, for instance, to autonomy for local governments. And beyond that, again, you can see the recent crisis by judicial service workers at Tucson. It also has to do with the same thing, autonomy for the judiciary. And you can see the response of the state governors across board. And that tells you, just like we have always posited, that the political class is one and the same. They think in like manner. And that was why when we had the issue of the COVID palliatives that were being hoarded, it was hoarded across the states of this country by politicians, by governors of both sides, of both PDP and the APC. So that gives you an idea, that there's a generality of temperament among all of them, and ideological, compass among these governors. And so it is the same thing, that there's a deliberate attempt by the governors not to allow the local governments to exist in the ways and manners that have been prescribed by the Constitution. And it is the same thing we have also with regards to the response of the governors towards the issue of judicial autonomy for the judicial. So the state governors are as culpable as even the federal government when it comes to their inability to discharge their constitutional responsibilities to their citizens. They are not actually better. It's just that there is a greater concentration most times on the federal government because it is the activities of the federal government that concern all of us as citizens, while those of the state governors only concern citizens of the states.
Okay, so what would state governors need to do now? Because he was calling on a collaboration of the leaders of National Assembly, governors, speakers, and other government agencies and other stakeholders to have a summit. Achike, at this time, do we need a summit?
It depends. Well, I think
would that not be another talk shop?
Well, I think we're not in a position for talk shops anymore. We are in a very, very dangerous situation. And there was something the PDP pointed out yesterday in their press, their world press briefing. And that is the fact that the governor of Niger State says that Boko Haram is in effective control of 5 local governments in the state. El Rufai also has said last week that the Boko Haram have left the rural communities and are now making inroads, incursions into urban areas. And then you also have Boko Haram being in control in some parts of Nasarawa state. Now some of these states border, or surround Abuja.
Yeah.
So what it means is that I hope that all of this is just happenstance and not deliberate on the part of the Boko Haram, because you'll be surprised that I won't be too surprised if sooner than later they make a priority to attack Abuja from different fronts at the same time. Because you see, what the terrorists have done, what they have determined, is that the more they seize territories and the Nigerian security agencies, show inability to contain their power grab or their incursions, it gives the terrorists an idea, it gives them extra confidence in the belief that the Nigerian state is incapable or is too weak to stop them in their stride. And that is going to embolden them and buoy them further and to want to make an incursion into the federal capital territory from different sides. So we are in a very serious and precarious situation. That every single day the Nigerian government is losing ability to stem the tide.
Achike.
And don't forget, and the president made it very clear when he was now begging, pleading for Africa to come, to sub-Saharan Africa to see whether they could help with the security situation in West Africa. But he had Nigeria in mind, most especially in mind. So that gives you an idea that even the president, the commander-in-chief, is not confident about the ability of the military and the security forces to contain this onslaught by the terrorists. And that is what we're saying. That's why they have been able to make incursions, and that's why they've been able to push our security forces, on a daily basis.
So if we have another talk shop, where would that lead us?
No, yeah, I do not expect a talk shop
Because Achike, most of what the PDP said are things that we've been hearing, are things that people like you have been saying, and other stakeholders, even in the military, past, I mean, everyone has been, there's nothing new in this whole document that he spent over 2 hours broadcasting yesterday, nothing new. The only new thing that the PDP has said now is that we want to be part of it. We want to help rescue the nation. So what are we going to be doing in this meeting?
No, I think what I expect. Listen, everything lies with the president. Unfortunately, the president is not living up to his responsibility. The president has failed this nation in a very terrible manner. That is the truth. He is the commander-in-chief. There's only one commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. And so the fact that we continue to lose territories to these people, the fact that we have all of this crisis going on unabatedly in the country. Look, we must remember the words of Ibrahim Babangida when he addressed the Nigerian nation. And by the way, this president, in spite of the atrocities being committed day by day, has not felt it expedient or necessary to address the Nigerian people. That in itself, you can even say it is rude, even from the president, that we have this kind of situation, and it's very, very extremely dangerous, that he is not able to give some level of confidence, some measure of confidence to the Nigerian people, to tell them that all is well, that he's in effective control of what is happening, and to give some promises to Nigerians about what they intend to do. He doesn't feel like Nigerians are deserving or worthy of that. That is the only way I can understand, what is happening. But we must remember that when Babangida annulled the June 12th, the 1993 election, he had to come before the Nigerian nation to explain. You understand? I talked about so many factors that led to that, which he might not be able to go into detail. But that he understands that the buck stops at his table because he's the president and commander-in-chief of Nigeria. So but we have a worse situation in this country where we are facing an existential problem, and the president has not deemed it necessary to address the Nigerian people and to give them some words of encouragement that all will be well.
All right, hold on, Achike.
But then,
hold on. Let's pause here. Let's pause here. Commercial needs to play. We'll keep talking in a bit. Please stay on the line. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001-8162 and let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817-001-8162. That is 0817-001-8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817-001-8162. That is 0817-001-8162. And let us connect.
3 Nigeria Info.
30 minutes gone past 8 o'clock. We're Nigerian Football Harcourt, and this is where we have the region's biggest conversation. My name is Enol Bevire. I have Achike Chude on the phone. Joining me from Lagos is a public affairs analyst. Before the commercial, I had to cut him off. He was saying that, unlike in 1993, when IBB, Ibrahim Babangida, annulled the elections, he explained to the people, and he was saying that some Nigerians expect President Buhari to, engage the people. But, there was something he said that I want to take him up on right now. Achike, you said, to give the people hope and make promises. But many people, have the only memory they have, or the experience they have of this president or this government is promises made, not kept. And in fact, things deteriorating. So how would Nigeria receive that engagement if it does happen?
Well, I know that there's a trust deficit. I know that trust is not given, trust is earned, and that they have not really earned the trust of Nigerians. But that is not to say that there are not those that will listen to the president when he speaks, because they're going to see that as a difference. After all, people are going to say, well, he never says anything. Now that he has come out to speak, perhaps there's something new, there's something that is happening. So they're not even having the benefit of hearing the president and commander-in-chief of Nigerian Armed Forces speak, especially, in the midst of people saying he has sympathies with the terrorists that are afflicting Nigeria. Of course, Adebanjo made insinuations to that effect about the president's affiliation with the Fulani terrorists. That was the word he used. The same thing, Otom of Benue State, the governor of Benue State, said the president has affiliations and sympathies for the Fulanis. Now, a lot of people might believe that, a lot of other people might not believe that. So the president needs to come out, and make an avowal against whatever insinuations of affiliation that they say he has with the Fulani terrorists. Of course, you know that at a particular point in time, when people are trying to say, look, do not denigrate the Fulanis, do not keep on insinuating that they are behind some of the terrorist activities that are going on in the country and the kidnappings, most especially the kidnappings now. It was the Sultan of Sokoto that came out and said, unfortunately, the stories swirling around the bandits is very true, that 8 out of every 10 people involved in kidnapping in the north is Fulani. That's a whopping 80%. But at least he was truthful and honest and sincere enough to come and, to say that to the Nigerian people. That is leadership. So we would expect the president to come out and speak strongly against whatever insinuation people have about his affiliations with the Fulanis. But he doesn't. He says nothing. And so he continues to build. That rumor continues to spread and to grow. And it is a very worrying situation. Okay. But even beyond that, let's even look at the fact that we are talking about the possibility of having another talk shop, and that we've had one talk shop too many in this country. I would agree with you. But what is needed at this particular point in time is practical action. And you don't even need workshops to be able to do that. What do you need? Some months ago, I remember having, I think I was on my way to Ibadan, we had this conversation. And we were talking about, you were asking what needed to be done. And I was talking about the inevitability of one form of community policing at this particular point in time, especially the border areas of this country, where or the outskirts of the country where the Fulani, the Boko Haram insurgency and banditry activities are at their highest, at their peak. And so you will need, because since the Nigerian security forces, especially the Nigerian army, since they do not have enough personnel, now the communities can provide personnel for them, and then even though they're not fully integrated into the security structure or network of the country, but they can work side by side with our security forces, with the police and with the soldiers. Give them arms for those people who can operate these arms, because you must put them in a position to defend themselves. So what is happening is not a surprise, because not too long ago, if you remember, Danjuma, the former chief of army staff, said that if you are waiting, was telling citizens that if you're waiting for the Nigerian army to defend you, you will die in your beds, because they are partisan and they are not in a position to defend you. So you need to have community involvement. So when the PDP now asks for community policing or state police and the rest, it is a call in the right direction. But it is a call that has immediacy, of urgency, if I use that expression.
Okay. Immediacy of urgency, and we have security forces that are not motivated, that are not being paid properly, that don't have insurance. So where would immediacy start? The president said he was going to work on their salaries. That was a few months ago. Has anything changed?
You see, there are things that tend to want to make us cry in this country. What you just talked about, that you have people in the war front, people that are laying down their lives. They are not motivated. Allowances are not being paid. Adequate, body armor and protection gear are not being given them. And then guns and ammo to defend themselves are not being given to them. So what you are telling them is to go on a suicide run against bandits and against terrorists.
That's for those. That's for those at the battlegrounds. In the states, we have them pillaging. We have them pillaging residents with unnecessary checkpoints, and all the things that happen.
But you see, the major issue now is the existential problems that we're facing now. We're not even talking about people that are being harassed at the checkpoint and so on. We need to be able to protect ourselves. We need to be able to protect our territories. So what do we need to do? Every resources that's available that we can muster must go towards engaging these bandits and towards engaging these terrorists.
All right.
Because every day that we waste time, and that is the dangerous thing. Every day that we waste time,
they're gaining ground.
Getting stronger. They're gaining ground. They're getting stronger. And so these are the things that need to be done.
Okay.
Not too long ago, we were told that a lot of people had been rounded up, people who are operating bureau de change and companies, and so many other people who were financing Boko Haram, for instance.
Yeah. And
the government promised that they are going to announce to Nigerians the name the people that were involved in this. Is silenced since that time. So people will remember that the government actually promised they are going to give us an insight into what is happening. Even if they say they are still investigating, but they had already said a lot of these people have been picked up. They will need to be told something.
Okay.
Everybody has kept quiet. Okay. And so what Nigerians are going to think is, okay, fine, we know that some people in government are supporting these people. Perhaps the people who have been caught in this situation are close people or friendly with people that are in government, therefore they have buried the situation. And that's why information is key. That's why they need to keep on talking to the people so that suspicion, and their unwholesome, unpalatable insinuations will not begin to make the airwaves.
All right. Achike, please hold on. Let's take some calls. Perhaps someone has a question to ask or a contribution to make. Just stay on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Annie. Hello.
This is Nigerian for Port Harcourt.
Oh, Nigerian for, sorry. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I am Chris. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right.
Yes, I want to comment on the issue.
PDP saying that they're going to support the APC to solve Nigeria's problems. Let's hear you.
Yes, I really want to, in as much as I don't like the role PDP played in the place that has put this country in this kind of state that we are today. I want to commend them
for realizing that there is a problem and not trying to play politics of blame game. But I would advise the APC to equally take the advice of PDP with a pinch of salt. Why am I saying so? I'm saying so because PDP came into power in 1999 and never put any structure democratically, in order for the sustenance of democracy. Look at the kind of problems we are facing today. Are we talking of local government autonomy? 15 years of PDP government, there was nothing like local government autonomy. Judicial autonomy, 15 years of PDP, there was nothing like that. Legislative autonomy, 16 years of PDP, there was nothing like that. And based on the ineffectiveness of PDP, Nigerians decided to vote APC and Muhammadu Buhari. We have just discovered that APC and Muhammadu Buhari have failed because they could not do anything to ameliorate
the failing APC, the failed PDP, they want to work together. Do you think that together they can bring up a solution that will move us forward?
PDP cannot bring any solution.
And APC seems to be confused and clueless.
APC has no solution.
Where does that leave us? Where does that leave us?
Who?
Where does that leave us as a nation?
It leaves us with a brand new solution. Nigerians should look inwards and see how they can do without these two political parties, APC and PDP. PDP, as a matter of fact, the problem we are in today was caused by PDP.
All right, thank you. I think what he's saying is that moving forward, maybe 2023, we should look for something different. But we're here now, and we need urgent solutions. What are you cheering for?
Yeah, good morning, and good morning to your guests.
Let's hear you.
My name is Clem. I actually I've heard what your guests have said, but we seem to just be looking at the problem we have now, and we are not helping us at all by saying that the president is not doing anything. Well, I would say that we don't even have one. We don't have one. The last time the president addressed this nation was in October during the Lekki shooting. Even that record was recorded like if not 1 week before the Lekki massacre.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that. You could say it was not a live broadcast. No, don't be like that. Because he said that he was waiting. Hold on. He said he was waiting for details of that event before he could speak on it. So, and it's, come on, don't be like that.
But that video is on the internet. You are an editor. You are on radio.
No. See, hold on, sir. If you're doing a broadcast and you're not going to have live feedback, they record it sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not even the bigger issue.
I know. I am an editor, right? So if you screen that video, you will discover that he did not make that video 24 hours when it was broadcast.
So that's the problem.
Yes, that's the problem. He made that video days before the Lekki massacre. He made that video days before the Lekki massacre. The people that surround him are the problem that we have in this country.
I don't agree with you. How would he do the video before the massacre? What did he know was going to happen? What? I don't understand. Achike, do you want to respond to some of the comments that have been made before now?
Yes. For anybody that is serious that you cannot do away with the PDP, for instance, and the APC at the same time. They are the dominant political parties in this country, and the people have, and the fact that they have remained in power all this while is because of the inability of the Nigerian people to adequately embrace an alternative. And then again, it's not just about 2023. We have to be able to survive as a nation till 2023. And that's why I said that we are facing an existential problem at the moment right now. So we need to be able to get to 2023 in one piece before another political process begins, once more. And that is the way I'm looking at it.
All right. So this one says it's not clearer that PDP is more patriotic to her nation than APC. because instead of only rendering attacking, hold on, I'm reading a message.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Instead of only rendering attacking services to the current situation, they're bold and sincere to render workable services to help their political opponents tackle the challenges and embarrassing situations. Note, 2014-2015, APC only rendered attacking services, and Buhari himself said an attack on Boko Haram is an attack on the north.
Yeah.
No, but hold on, Achike, hold on. What we've heard only is a speech. We have PDP governors, we have APC governors.
Yeah.
And they're part of the whole mess and the whole issue that is submerging the country.
Yeah.
So before now, was the PDP talking to its governors? Are they doing anything different than the APC governors? Are they doing anything different than the federal government?
No, well, you see, it is again the nature and character of the Nigerian state. We also have to realize that, for instance, when Danjuma said, look, people should defend themselves because they should not count on the military to defend them. How were people going to defend? How were people going to do that? Because shortly after that, the federal government gave, made a broadcast or informed the Nigerian people that
not allowed to carry out
personal possession of firearms will be allowed under any circumstance in this country, and they now mandated the security agencies to mop up guns that are in the hands of Nigerians. So how were the people going to defend themselves? And so you have governors really that are described as chief executive officers of states, but we know that they are not in control. We know that they cannot not give instruction to the commissioner of police if the political stakes, if the stakes are high. You understand? Not that they cannot give instructions. Occasionally they give instructions to commissioners of police.
Selective.
But when the stakes are high, when it's about national politics, the commissioners of police will listen to the inspector of police, who sometimes might have to take clearance from the president. So the governors are not effectively in charge of the security in their own states. That is very true.
So what do they get security votes? So what do they get security votes for?
That's the issue. Some of us have been saying all this while that security votes should be scrapped. And we have been saying it because it is an avenue for graft for these governors. It's as simple as that. You know, but we also cannot throw away the baby with the bathwater. We also know that across the states in this country that some states have been spending so much money recruiting the police and paying the allowances of police people. In fairness to the governors, that is not to say that some monies are not being stolen. The basis of the security vote that they are getting. But in a place like Lagos, so much has been invested, hundreds of millions of naira over the years, and allowances, for special duties being paid to policemen. These are primarily the responsibility of the federal government. For many state governments, in Anambra State, it is the same thing. In Rivers State, it is the same thing. Yet the governors might not have done well because, we have issues with the governors, and we are still saying that the security votes should be, that either they are drastically reduced or that they should stop it altogether.
All right.
Because it's an avenue for corruption, but we cannot deny the fact.
Let's take some.
Also help to equip the police in their space. That is the truth.
Let's take some more questions or comments. Felix Jameson says, "I don't trust PDP. Azazi said something about them before his death." I don't know what Azazi said, but Oji Iheke Ego says, "Politicians know that the end is here. They are now doing anything possible to continue, but that's not possible." I think what he's saying is that he believes that this is a ploy by the PDP to gradually worm its way into the people's hearts. Owokono Amieno says, "If I may ask, what's the difference between PDP and APC? Are they not the same people or persons?" Comrade Desmond Njika is thanking God for PDP for the right decision they took. Okay. Where? Okay, so what needs to happen now to show that there is sincerity in this, comments by the PDP? What do you think needs to happen nationwide?
Well, we want to see the APC also extending a hands of friendship to the PDP. We want to see what that is going to result in. Again, yes, we will not blame people for being suspicious of the PDP's moves, but we are used to seeing the PDP always being critical of the APC.
They were very critical. They were very critical at that World Conference, by the way. This was just a little part of,
Anybody that is talking about the situation, about the current situation in Nigeria should be critical of the government of the day. Do not forget that part of the reason for getting the APC into power was because they said the president promised us that he was going to deal decisively with Boko Haram, with acts of terrorism and violence across the country within 6 months. So the president, the APC, made a promise to the Nigerian people, specifically on security issues. And they have failed woefully, in that perspective. So, look, and part of the reason why we sent the PDP out was also because of some of these issues, security, the woeful set of the economy, which is actually far better than what we have, and then the promise to fight corruption, which has also, been magnified many times over in the country. So what was the basis of even the PDP coming to power? APC coming to power. Yes, it has got to, castigate the PDP, but the reality was that we sent the PDP out. That was the reason why we sent the PDP out. And so the APC has failed from in that perspective.
We sent the PDP. Achike, we sent the PDP out in 2015, right?
Yes.
And we returned the APC in 2019. Something wrong with that?
Yes,
because if you say no, hold on. If you say there was a 6-month timeline, right? And it didn't happen in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. And in 2019, we went back to the polls to say continue. Then there must be something else. We're not doing that.
That's why your corner that said, look, nothing good will come out from the PDP and the APC, that the people must discountenance them and then look forward to doing things without these two political parties. Perhaps it's an ideal situation. It's being idealistic. In practical sense, that is not going to be possible because you cannot just wish them away like that.
Okay.
And so you have just also talked about the problem with Nigerians. They had already failed by 2019.
In the first term.
And the issue of corruption, issue of insurgency and violence, acts of violence across the country, and the economy. But yet Nigerians went out and brought them back to power. And within 2 years, look at what is happening now.
Okay.
So these are some of the issues. So Nigerians too also have a part to play in the blame game. They also are also responsible for having the kind of government that they have.
All right. Okay.
Well,
A comment from Collins Chukwemeka says PDP has now gotten sense. All through the period they were in power, they were clueless and were busy looting. Now they have sense. Please let them release their looted funds so that the APC will use to secure the country and continue with the diversification program. We can't be fooled by their tactics. Hold on.
What happens with the looted fund that we're having with the APC right now?
Oh, they said
what happens with that one?
Well, I don't know. Maybe Collins.
Because looting went on under the PDP. Massive looting is going on under the APC.
And nobody wants
the person that just made this comment. Where is he coming from? If you're not aware about the report by Transparency International that corruption has continued unabatedly in the country, and it is far worse than it has ever been in Nigeria from 1999 to date under the APC.
Okay.
So we're not isolating the APC nor the PDP in that matter.
All right. Sisi from Owerri says accusations and counter-accusations between PDP and APC will not help the security situation in Nigeria. Rather, it will make it worse. All hands should be on deck to make Nigeria better. Morige says the problematic situations, insecurity, economic crisis we're facing today have serious political undertones. Let's talk about that. He says if both political parties come together with real ideals and face our situation without sentiments, I think things will get better than we are facing today. I like that Morige has taken us here because many times we hear that politicians are the ones funding, or going through the back and doing stuff to make sure that the country is insecure. How do you respond to this?
We know that we have a very dangerous set of political elites.
And you just said we can't do without them?
But I think we cannot do without them. The process, it's a process. To rescue a country from the kind of morass that we're in, it's a process. It's not something that is done in one day.
Okay.
And sometimes it would also involve some level of social and revolutionary upheaval within the country. For it to even bring that about. Because the people that are in power today have garnered a lot of resources. With these resources, they are able to
fight.
Also engage, the people themselves who give them the support that they need to remain in power. So these are part of the crisis, that we're also facing. That the people are being sustained, that these politicians are being sustained by the will of the Nigerian people themselves too. So we need to win ourselves off the politicians, off the influence of the politicians. That is the only way we can begin to confront them.
All right.
And also, so we can't, do away with the fact that they were also responsible for some of these things that they are doing.
All right.
The fact that a senator, for instance, by the time he comes home, everybody in the town, will come to him, and so that they can get a bit of what the man is stealing at Abuja. And the man cannot tell them that he's not stealing, that he's a saint or an angel in that place. They are going to wonder why he's there in the first place. So the people themselves are also part of. Haven't we seen several times once people are convicted, the few occasions that former governors are convicted in Nigeria, when they are being brought to the courts, how Nigerians gather in their hundreds.
You mean how Nigerians are hired
for themselves
to
and also embrace them? And even when they are released, how they are also embraced by the same people. So the problem is not just with the fault is not in the stars, the fault is in us, all of us. And we are guilty, perhaps, in a way, perhaps even more guilty than the politicians. Because we are encouraging them, to do what they have been doing. Without us, without our support, and our approval, they will not be able to do what they are doing.
All right, Achike, we run out of time. What would you like to see happen swiftly? Because some people are saying the APC should be more careful now and apply caution if they want to collect anything from the PDP. What would you like to see happen immediately?
Yeah, the president should be a Nigerian president, first of all. He should be a statesman. This president should be looking at his legacy, what legacy he leaves in this country. We were here in this country when a sitting president, head of state died, and we saw unprecedented joy. And, people rejoicing on the streets. Now, that was a very terrible thing to happen to somebody. It wasn't a nice thing, but it was inevitable. So we do not want a situation where this president is not there tomorrow. And then Nigerians go out on the street to rejoice. We want Nigerians to lament because they are lamenting the passing of a great person. That is what we should. So he should have his eyes on history, on the verdict of history. I would expect them to work across board, regardless of political party affiliations, and begin to look for ways to empower people within the communities to defend themselves.
Right.
If the army cannot defend themselves, you cannot tell the people to go out on a suicide pact.
All right. Thank you very much, Achike. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So we'll see how this plays out in coming days.
All right. Thank you.
We're Nigerian for that's a wrap on the Crossfire this Tuesday morning. My name is Enoch Beviri. Tomorrow I return at 5 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, it's Wednesday tomorrow, so we'll have the Eyewitness Report segment come up. Do stay tuned. Good morning.